Live report of first Benzedrex experience. I'm initially drawn to propylhexadrine while because of its unique structure it looks exactly similar to methamphetamine if you forgot to draw the double bonds. Upon some of my friends telling me it's not worth it, or they thought it was bad, I became skeptical and more fascinated. I head off for the store and buy 4 Benzedrex nasal inhalers. No fuss, no ID, just a seemingly benign over-the-counter drug. Though I'd love to smoke a bowl or snort a line of the stuff, I decide to do a simple lemon juice extraction for my first time. 4:30 a.m. T plus 0 minutes. After a few hours into the extraction process, I become drowsy and impatient. I ingest just a hair more than half of my lemony speed brew on an empty stomach. I'm estimating my initial dose as being 150 mg even though I have no way to tell for sure. I'm estimating my initial dose as being 150 mg even though I have no way to tell for sure. With this method/ROA. T plus 1 hour 30 minutes. A little come-up anxiety reminiscent of MDMA or LSD a little bit. T plus 1 hour 45 minutes. Feeling a familiar stimulation and smooth/gradual transition from come-up to peak. At this time I take a 100 mg capsule of caffeine to increase wakefulness. T plus 1 hour 59 minutes. Focus is significantly increased and a sort of mental euphoria comes on. Feels very similar to amphetamine, but more like meth. Very positive mood and high amounts of energy. Not very well able to stay on task with things like studying, but certainly could be sufficient as a work aid. I am certainly very curious about other ROAs. T plus 2 hour 18 minutes. My mouth has become very dry. As the stimulation effects begin peaking, I am getting distracted and failing to keep up with drinking water. I have become fully distracted from my schoolwork. I would definitely call this an amphetamine-like drug. It has its own little nuances, of course. I just can't seem to put my finger on them yet. The headspace is relatively clear. My thoughts are racing with a parallel desire to organize them. T plus 2 hours 27 minutes. A brief period of gross sweating ensues as I reach around my desk for a couple things. This is the most I've exerted myself in a few hours. I decide that I should be more cognizant of the physical effects, so I get up and go to the bathroom. While in the bathroom I take 120 milligrams of Coke 10. I found a little trouble with urinating, not surprised by this at all, normal stim thing. T plus 3 hours. Possibly starting to exit peak. Euphoria and focus are just slightly decreasing. I drink the remaining propylhexadrine and lemon juice concoction, 100 mg. T plus 3 hours 40 minutes. Extremities feel kind of cold and tingly as I look away from the computer and stretch. Need to urinate again, and I get the feeling this time around will be more difficult. Really wish it didn't have such a long onset. Impulsively, I take 5 milligrams of PRL8-53 sublingual and swallow another 100 milligrams caffeine pill for pretty much no reason. T plus 4 hours 7 minutes. Noticeable degradation of mood. Frustrating lack of focus in schoolwork with a feeling that there's definitely something better I could be doing. Soreness from poor posture and my tendency to remain sedentary is more pronounced. I would get up and stretch, but I decide not to because I don't want to disengage with the little focus I do have. There's a little bit of euphoria lingering. It may even be rising slightly as the most recent dose moves into its peak. T plus 4 hours 32 minutes. I put on some ambient music and it kind of brings out some entactogenic effects. There's just a tiny bit of music euphoria. Very watered down compared to MDMA, but possibly better than listening to music on meth. Extremely pleasant. This would be fun to do with somebody, and I regret not listening to music for more of the experience. The only thing I can think of that feels different from a normal phenethylamine is this strange clean, sort of head in the clouds feeling. T plus 4 hours 35 minutes. A mental clarity has replaced the uncontrollable train of thought. I look at the tree outside my window and have this ditzy little urge to smile, almost like an appreciation. Once again, sorta like MDMA. Still forgetting to drink water. The peak from the second dose has become very prominent, and I'm noticing more recreational effects now that the sun is shining through my window as gentle music plays in the background. T plus 5 hours 18 minutes. Just barely starting to come down. I don't have much energy left and my mood is slightly lower. Don't foresee this being much different from a general stim come down. Not super depressing, actually quite clean, except for discomfort being more prevalent. Little to no more euphoria, still very much so awake. Concluding thoughts. For something so easily obtainable, I'm blown away. Looking back, I can't believe how much I wrote. The peak effects are very familiar, speedy, clean, and long-lasting. Overall, the drug seemed a lot more like meth than I expected, with a few fun little entactogenic effects.